You can make yourself the one that got away. You can make yourself that phantom ex that the avoidant always ruminates about whenever they're in a relationship. Avoidants often have a phantom ex. The phantom ex is a person that they compare their current partner to, a person that they fantasize about and ruminate about while they're in a relationship with somebody else. The reason they do this is to create emotional distance between themselves and their current partner, constantly comparing their current partner to this ex of the past. The ex gets put up on a pedestal. The ex was wonderful. The ex was all the things, and the ex was the one that got away. It's hard to really have emotional intimacy with a person when you're ruminating about somebody else, when you're fantasizing about somebody else. It does create emotional distance, however. And emotional distance is how dismissive avoidance feels safe. This is a person that received consistent childhood emotional neglect, growing up in households where you don't talk about feelings, where their own feelings were dismissed and rejected. In other words, being vulnerable and emotionally close to anybody wasn't safe, and they carry these fears into adulthood. So now, when they are in a relationship and their fears start to get triggered, well, their brain starts to ruminate on that ex. It's a maladaptive defense mechanism. It's a coping strategy. It's not a healthy one. That's why it's called maladaptive. But the whole idea is, since they're comparing their current partner to this ex, it gives them the justification that they need to create emotional distance and even exit the relationship without really having to take accountability. Because now their current partner really isn't so great. There's somebody else better out there. There's somebody else out there that was more compatible, and they really should be looking for that. So it's not really their fault. They don't have to confront that inner wound of shame because they have all this evidence that they've manufactured that there's somebody else better for them out there. It's a way to justify their own fears and justify their own urges to leave a relationship. So how do you make yourself that phantom ex? Simple. You hold boundaries with the avoidant. Boundaries being your limits of what you want, don't want, what you need, don't need, what you tolerate and what you won't tolerate, and what your expectations are. And when they fail to respect your boundaries, when they fail to respect your needs, you walk away. You walk away, you don't chase them, you walk away and you go into no contact. This will make you the one that got away because you're not chasing them. You're now unavailable to them. And when you're unavailable to them, it makes you more desirable to them because there's no longer a threat of emotional intimacy. There's no longer pressure for them to be emotionally available to you. You now start to get put on this subconscious pedestal. You are the one that got away. Now, you shouldn't walk away and go into no contact for the purposes of becoming a phantom ex. That should not be your goal at all. The reason why you should hold boundaries and walk away is for your own self-protection, your own self-worth, and your own mental well-being. If this is a person that is not meeting your emotional needs, if this is a person that is not treating you the way that you want from a partner, this is a person that isn't showing up for you and giving you tons of anxiety with hot and cold behavior, it is important to hold boundaries and to eventually walk away if they're not showing any work towards meeting your boundaries, because being in a relationship with a person that is doing hot and cold behavior and not meeting your needs is a recipe for you becoming more anxious and neglecting and abandoning yourself. Because you shouldn't be in a relationship with a person that puts no effort in to show up for you. And that's just self-respect. That is behaving like a securely attached person by showing up for yourself. You can't force them to show up for you, but you certainly can force yourself to show up for yourself. So holding those boundaries is a healthy thing to do for you. Now, a side effect of that is you might make yourself that phantom ex. It's very likely. Now, that doesn't mean that it's a great thing if the avoidant is just ruminating on you. But what it does mean is now they're actually experiencing some consequences of their actions. They may be very used to being chased, pursued, begged, always having an ex as an available option, pining away for them, waiting for them to come back to the romantic relationship. By holding boundaries and walking away, you're no longer enabling this person. You're not sending the avoidant the message that it's okay to string you along, that it's okay to only give someone breadcrumbs, that it's okay to trample boundaries. No, you're allowing them to feel the consequences of their actions. And the consequences of their actions are that they can actually lose somebody that they care about, at least at some level. That can be a rock bottom for some people, meaning the point where the pain of the consequences of their actions, the pain of losing you, outweighs the pain of self-reflection and internal growth. Rock bottom can be the point where a person says, ooh, this hurts. I don't want to go through this anymore. I want to work on myself so I never have to experience that again. It could be that rock bottom. It could be the catalyst that that person needs to actually start growing and healing and becoming secure, no longer being a dismissive avoidant. But some people have a rock bottom so low that they never reach it. You can't guarantee that this person is going to do any work on themselves, but by walking away and holding boundaries, at least you are maybe giving them an incentive to do so by allowing them to experience the consequences of their own actions. But you shouldn't be walking away or holding boundaries for that reason, because it's up to the avoidant if they truly want to work on themselves or not. It's up to them if they want to heal, take accountability, and become more secure. And if they do, that's great. That's great for their lives. Now they'll be able to actually maintain and form healthy relationships in ways they weren't. So you could potentially help them in that aspect by hopefully helping them reach that rock bottom. But that's their journey to take. That is absolutely their journey to take. What your journey to take is showing up for yourself and holding boundaries so you can get into that healthy relationship that you've always wanted. Because partners that are emotionally available can and will respect boundaries of their partner because they empathize with their partner. Empathy is a core component of emotional availability, the ability and the willingness to empathize. The thought process of how do I show up for my partner? How do my actions impact my partner's feelings? Those are empathetic thoughts. And an emotionally unavailable partner, like a dismissive avoidant, doesn't have that thought process. It's inherently what's in it for me. How does this person make me feel? Me. But that splash of cold water on the face, like someone holding boundaries and walking away, can be an incentive for this person to work on themselves so they can become emotionally available and empathize with future partners. So in a roundabout way, you might be actually doing them a huge favor in your lives by holding boundaries and walking away. But there's no guarantee of it, and that should not be the reason why you actually show up for yourself. You should show up for yourself, show self-respect, show yourself that your needs and feelings matter for you, because that will set you up to get into healthier relationships in the future. But that side effect, you might be the Phantom X. You might be the one that got away.